Hello and welcome to episode 3 of our Timberborn Update 7 Folktails Hard Mode playthrough here, Cycle 5, Day 1. Last time, we did a whole lot of improvement with a bunch of stuff, including diverting bad tides, and we've got more planting done, and I think we're in a really good early game spot. But, as you can very obviously see, we've made some major mistakes in terms of how much water we're storing or not storing, and now we got a bunch of thirsty beavers. Check these guys out. There's only one whose thirst is quenched. So at the very end of last episode, we put in the emergency water pump of shame as a monument to all of my sins, at least in this game. And we're going to go ahead and hopefully get the rest of the beavers hydrated in time to not all die before we get our nice clean water coming down here and reaching these pumps. So what I'm going to go ahead and do, in the interest of actually accomplishing something, is we're just going to go ahead and say goodbye to this dam and this levee so that the water does not have to wait to fill this up to get around here, because we really need to have water coming into these pumps as soon as physically possible, because these beavers are suffering. But that problem should take care of itself, and we can get right on going to a whole bunch of other things based on what you guys had to say in the comments, and we did get a whole lot of good ones. So starting off, we have this forester here, has not taken full advantage of all of the space afforded to it, so I think what would be a smart move for us to do is to put in a little bit of a staircase here so we can get up top and then access this space as well from the same area. And then I'm going to go ahead and just run that like so. Not a super huge priority, so I will massively deprioritize all of these stairs, but we do want those to be in place just in case. We're going to be able to make good use of that, and we're going to continue planting additional trees. Now that this is diverted and we can't ever have any bad water come in here, or ideally can't ever have any bad water come in here, I'm going to transfer all of these over to be oaks, like we have here and here, and then start planting these as well, just to take advantage of as much of our space as possible. And before we get too far along, yes, it does make more sense to have the tooth grindstone close to the actual foresting that's occurring. So yeah, that's going to go there, and that's going to be a massive help for us. While it is nice to have one just kind of in the middle of nowhere so it doesn't take up a plantable space, this does make sense, so we will go ahead and do that. And it looks like nobody has died of thirst, which is fantastic news. That's always a good thing. Let's get these beavers in these pumps. This is also just completely empty now because, of course it is. We pumped all the water out of it after we dumped it in the hole. We talked about how dumb that was the last time. But we're looking good. Looking good. These guys can get pumping now. We can get replanting on all of these farm things. And in fact, what I'm going to go ahead and do is all of this right to about... Actually, you know what? No, we're gonna do this. We're gonna unplant all of this as food because we got a really good suggestion in the comments of the last video, and then also posted with a picture aid on the Discord, which I always appreciate. We're gonna put a irrigation dump area up here, and what's gonna happen is this is gonna give us irrigation of pretty much all of this area, a little bit more up here, and then also on the plateau. With about the same amount of space taken up, and then we won't have to worry about this here. So we have to decide how we're going to be approaching this. There's a couple different ways we can get up here, but I think the least amount of damage to our farmland in terms of space taken up is probably going to have to be something we decide in a little bit after this is up and running. And we are going to have to say goodbye to this bit of potatoes. We're not really in a huge rush to get this done, but at the same time, yeah, you know what, I'm just going to leave it alone. I'm just going to unplant it. I was about to rip it out of the ground, but, you know, we don't really have any food that is ready to be prepared into something else here, so we want to make sure we get all these potatoes if we possibly can, and just to do what we can with what we got. That's what we always do. Continue to plant these back again as oaks, and then all of these are going to become trees as well. So it's going to look a little ugly for a while. Just bear with me here. We're going to make some good progress. Going to do our best. Get this all marked up. Now, it's basically been proven that this doesn't matter, but it bugs me, so we're going to do it anyway. Get these guys situated. I don't think this is irrigated, so we probably will want to look into fixing this. Maybe doing another irrigation station somewhere up here. Or we just say, you know what? This whole thing can just be an evaporation fest and also irrigate everything we got going on over here. So the beavers are still thirsty, as one might expect, because, well, gestures wildly at all of the water that we didn't have at the beginning of this episode. But I think we're going to be in a pretty good spot. I don't have any other beavers that aren't working right now, and we're trying to expand, so we do want to continue building additional housing. Got these double lodges, slowly replacing these guys, and there's no point in deleting this right now because the beavers aren't working right now. So we'll get through the rest of this night here, and then top of the morning we're going to get rid of this lodge and replace it with a double, and slowly start increasing our beaver storage capacity. Yeah, get that out of there. Alright, rise and shine. Get out of bed. You've got to move your house and put it somewhere else. Get that built expeditiously, and then continue moving right along. Yeah, so as long as the beavers in the water pumps aren't suffering from a thirst ailment, then they can actually work faster. Yeah, see, this is the problem, is our poor beavers here, they're going to work, and they're thirsty. Okay, oh, now we have a non-thirsty beaver operating this. So, yeah, we do get that work speed buff for, you know, not being thirsty to death. It's always helpful. Always helpful. Looks like we're still planting some oak trees. Or are we thirsty? Yeah, that's that minus 25% movement speed debuff. Just got to get some water, get a drink, go back to work, make it happen. That's all you can do. The unfortunate thing about this is that, you know, this is hard mode, so we're not going to have a really, really long temperate season, and it's going to cause problems. We have all this stuff that kind of depends on things running smoothly, and it doesn't always happen. But we're going to be okay. As long as the beavers can actually, you know, stop being thirsty, then a lot of our problems are going to be solved. I have extra beavers who don't have jobs, so I'm going to go ahead and put one more in the district center so we can get construction going just a little bit faster. Then, I guess, yeah, I'm going to have this lumber mill turned on. We're making enough. I can actually take that power wheel offline for a little bit, and we can think about other stuff we have to build. I do want to continue expanding this reservoir here, and I know I responded to at least one comment saying that we're going to do that. But it's probably not going to be immediate because we really, honestly, just need to make sure these beavers are not thirsty before we try to do any big construction projects. We just got to get things stabilized and continue moving on the trajectory which we are trying to accomplish. Yeah, I do think getting this levee system put in is going to be perhaps a little bit more important than doing too much else, because that's going to give us more farmland. And keep in mind that we can't only live on potatoes, but they are going to be really good to us while we have all these grown. We do need to diversify. And the grill also can do chestnuts, which we haven't planted any of those yet. That's kind of a long-term thing. And then spatterdock as well. Probably is going to be in our best interest to start planting some of those in our river here, since ideally this never goes dry. Once we have this dammed up and we have a little bit of a larger reservoir, that's going to make sense as well. But this lumberjack flag does not need to be here anymore. Well, actually, we have a couple trees left, but I'm going to go ahead and pause this so we can try to get more beavers doing other important jobs, as one does. I think, yeah, we don't need this fluid dump to be going right now, and we also don't really have the water to do it. But we might just kind of have to let this go at triple speed for a little bit before we start trying to do too much more in the way of building projects or new stuff, just because these beavers are still kind of suffering just a little bit. Just a little bit. We need to get more pumps going in as well, and I know that's something that I did say we were going to be working on. I just want to make sure before I commit to doing that, that we have an adequate amount of water storage up here. So we definitely have wood. We have the ability to make that work there. I'm just going to go ahead and say, you know what, these berries can go away. And I'm going to start, let's see, make sure this is going to be the correct height. I don't expect this to be really that viable to have it filled up by the end of this temperate cycle because, you know, it always just takes a really, really long amount of time. So I have science. We can do double floodgates. We can do triple floodgates. Actually, no, triple floodgates needs 500, which... Oh, now I have 500. But just got to think a little bit because obviously the best thing to do here would be to have probably a sluice set to the desired height downstream. But we don't have metal yet. And it is going to be a little bit of time before we get there, and we don't really need to rush through this. A lot of people expressed the desire for this not to be super rushed, and I think we can strike a healthy balance between that and also still getting a bunch of stuff done. So I think we can take advantage of a mechanic that was added in Update 6. Might be kind of a fun thing to do, so hear me out. You put a platform, maybe not here. Try to find a slightly better spot for it. But just to demonstrate what I'm talking about, you put a platform here, and then you put levees on top of that platform, and then floodgates. Just pretend there's something else here. You put a floodgate here. Suddenly, this is just a manual sluice gate. And it's not going to let anything out unless you lower it. And what you do is you kind of create like whatever the inverse value of this is taken out of 1. So this would be the same amount of water flow as if you had 0.05 coming off of it. So it, like, I hope that makes sense. I hope that makes sense. So we can have a very slow trickle coming out. It's just going to have to be manual. I don't know if this is like a great idea to do it or not. So I probably am not going to build it at this exact moment in time. But that would be an easy way for us to have access to, I guess, bottom outlet water flow. I probably should just honestly make a double or triple floodgate and just be done with it. But I did have this thought because this was never allowed before in Update 6, or before Update 6. But now that we can put the levees on top of platforms, there's all sorts of opportunities. But just keep that one in the back of your mind. If you think that's cool, let me know. We might be able to do it somewhere. But if you think it's dumb, please also feel free to let me know. It's a Let's Play, not a Watch Me Play. So I always do appreciate your feedback and comments and all of that jazz. So, what we need to do is we need to have this height be about the same as this height, which is going to be an additional from here 2, and that will match up quite nicely. And the good thing about this is they're going to be able to build this without any scaffolding. That's going to be a wonderful thing for us to do. These are free to build, so it literally doesn't matter if we get rid of it. So all we got to do is just pop that guy in there. And then I think... Actually, yeah, we can get rid of that. We can get rid of that. And before we build this, if we really, really want to be special with this, we can put in a double floodgate, say either here or something like we were talking about before, and we can have a really complicated setup. I'm trying to create a system where it's a minimal amount of time waiting for water to come out of this following a drought. But again, it's going to have to wait on a sluice. So if we feel like it's probably not a good use of science to unlock the triples at this point, then I am going to just, you know, put these levees up here and put a regular floodgate on the top. But 500 science is a lot of science that we could do a bunch of cool stuff with. Some people have been asking for well-being items, and fortunately a lot of these early ones are cheap, or cheap-ish, so we wouldn't really have to worry about it that much. We do already have the gears unlocked, which is great. That really helps a lot. We're not going to get to metal for a little bit, so I'm not going to feel too bad about not having that. Aquatic farmhouses would also be really nice to have, but I kind of don't want to commit to aquatic farmhouses until we're sure that we can keep this full for a very long time, and that is, well, that's going to be dependent on how well this goes. Now, this isn't going to take a super long amount of time to get done. We just have to be sure that we can actually, you know, make it work, if that makes sense. Like this pool here won't ever get any higher than these blocks just because that's how we have this set up currently. So if we want to be, really just super special about this, we just get rid of these blockages here, and we could actually Make a 2-stage dam. I know, probably not the best, most efficient use of time, but I'm not opposed to trying interesting ideas, even if it's not super efficient, because sometimes it's fun to just do something for the sake of doing it, you know? There's no world records that will be issued today, and I'm certainly not the best Timberborn player out there, but I do like to have fun with the game. So sometimes that is something that is very important, in my opinion. Feel free to disagree if you choose. But I think for the sake of what we have going on here, I am going to go ahead and unlock the double. I'm not going to do the triple. I'm going to unlock the double floodgate, and that's going to allow me to put this here, which is going to keep this very full for the amount of time that we have to actually probably build this. And it's honestly not that bad. Not that bad to get that full up again, because it's never going to go lower than this when we let water out unless we delete stuff. So all we got to do is just make sure that this gets built first. And the planks we're going to have pretty soon. Logs for most of this we should have, maybe not quite enough, but we got wood. We're going to be fine. So get those beavers on turbo boost speed mode and let them rip. Get this stuff built expeditiously. Of course, these guys have to take this stuff out, but that's not going to be a huge deal. Yeah, and eventually we do also want to get working on this, I know. That is, say it with me, just going to take time. But fortunately, it's not going to be super annoying to build. You know what? I kind of think it wouldn't be such a bad idea to just have the water dump here, and beavers can come up from just like that, and we don't lose farmland. We lose like 1 tile. So let's actually unmark that. It's also going to have to unmark that. Because, remember, this doesn't have to be here, but I don't want to get rid of this until this is in place. And that could cause some problems if we're not careful about how we have stuff going on. So we do need to mark these for destruction. Everything else is going to be totally fine. We don't need to put a piece of... I don't know why I was going to call it a piece of levees here. No, it's just a levee. It's not a piece of levee. It's just a levee. We don't necessarily have to build platforms either, but in the interest of maintaining farmland, we might want to do that. But again, long-term projects. Long-term projects. Get these oaks planted. The food situation is only going to improve as these potatoes continue to get harvested. And we probably at some point can put another grill in. You know what? Yeah, this isn't a very expensive building, but I do want to make sure that we have... Yep, see, drought approaching. Drought approaching. We definitely want to get this... accomplished. Let's pause this gear workshop so we don't have to have our planks all go into gears. I want to get this done in time for this to fill up nicely. Which we have almost 3 days. Should be okay. Not going to take too terribly long. Yeah, we could definitely pause that lumberjack flag. That guy was just wasting his time. So, that levee, now unpaused, except they're all destroying the blockages, which is fine. That's, you know, that's a water volume that we can get back. As soon as they get that taken care of, then we can unpause this. I think, maybe. Oh, we're flooding, but it's okay because the construction beavers are going to get that well-being bonus, which is always good. Get that unpaused as well. They'll be able to take care of that, and trees are still getting cut. Yes, this is all marked for cutting. I think we did verify that earlier. Get the rest of these guys planted out and continue doing what we have to be doing. All right, and this is going to have to be not necessarily 2 levees. I can put a platform here and then put a levee on top of the platform because that is something that's allowed. And who knows, maybe something interesting or useful could go in here. Like, I did get a comment asking if we were going to use beehives. And to be perfectly honest with you, I've never really had any good experience with the beehives. It always just causes beavers to be just stung in insane, that was quick, insane amounts of times, and it's very, very frustrating. So I probably honestly don't want to use those. But it's entirely possible I was just doing it wrong. That's a skill issue, and I'm perfectly willing to admit that. But we'll see what happens. Maybe we'll give it a shot later. we'll see what we're able to get done. But look at this. This is already a lot more water stored. I know it's not not the biggest, not the best, not the most beautiful reservoir, but for where we are in the game right now, this is actually pretty good. Pretty good. Pretty good. Next step, as we have time, which right now I don't think we really do. If we want to be really particular about it, I wonder if I could get this done. Obviously, this isn't going to fill up any higher until I make this taller, which is going to be a process of its own. But this definitely needs to get done. At some point, I will deprioritize it. This is obviously not the world's most important thing right now. But we want to make sure they can do that. And look at this. Look at this. Now, the forester can't reach up here, of course. But having access to up here is going to be really good because remember what's here. This is a giant pool that we could either fill with water or we could build housing in or something interesting like that. Lots of opportunities. Lots of opportunities to do stuff in fun and exciting new ways. So if you have any ideas what you want to put in the hole, then feel free to let me know. Alright, I've got one free bed. Probably about time. I know we still have beavers who aren't working. It's probably about time to start increasing that as well. Alright, drought incoming. We have 200 water stored. We really need to have more. And yes, this comes back to previously when I had talked about people leaving comments to put in water pumps up here. And that is something we're going to do eventually. I do want to raise this up, I think, one more level before we fully commit to that. We just don't have the time to make it a perfect thing right now. And they're going to continue pumping here. I think cycle 5, we should still be in the handicap for a couple more droughts. But I would imagine this could be, 12, 13, 14 days. This is going to be my guess. I could be very wrong, and it could be a lot longer than that, in which case, well, I guess that's good content for you and more stress for me, but hey, that's the way this thing goes. I do wish these guys would pump a little bit faster, so maybe it's time to start thinking about building a hauling post. That honestly seems like the best thing to do. So I'm just going to pop that guy right there. Start out with just 2 haulers, but even if it can just keep our pumpers pumping a little bit more efficiently, I think that's going to be worth it. And we definitely need to keep doing more stuff with the food. I know I did say I was going to put another grill in, but I think I want to see just how much more land we're going to get when I put this additional irrigation in. Because that's going to be something we want to keep an eye on. Other things we want to do, we want to be able to get upstairs here. So if we were to do that, then we have to have easy access, which here is going to line up quite nicely. I'm pretty sure this whole area is going to be irrigable as long as I've done my mental math correctly, which good luck with that one. But we have stairs up here. This farmhouse, once those are built, should be able to have a little bit of access to this. And honestly, we should probably move the farmhouse once we get this irrigating because, well, there's a bunch of different reasons why. But we could also, just build it on the stilts out here. Plenty of options, plenty of fun stuff to do. Just gotta make it work. We also want to continue expanding our lumber mills and taking care of power generation needs. And there's a bunch of stuff we can do with that too. Specifically, narrowing the river because it's only 3 CMS. That is not enough to cause overflowing problems pretty much at all with having a channel wide enough for this, which would be 2 blocks wide. So we could narrow this river with the use of these levees, which would increase the flow rate per tile. And then we could just put these in a line and make a whole bunch of power. Well, relatively speaking. We'll see what happens. See what happens. Plenty of opportunity, plenty of time. We're in a pretty good spot for early game, doing what we can. Another project I did say that I was going to want to do sooner rather than later is going to be putting just a tiny bit of diversion here for our bad water. Very, very, very easily accomplished by putting in a single levee. Just right there. And what that's going to do is that's going to stop the bad water mixing here and instead cause the bad water to mix here. And that is really going to open up a whole lot more land for planting that we could do here. Should green up this to a certain extent. And obviously we have plenty of opportunity to further refine that, but that's just such a simple thing to fix. I figured that would be worth putting down before we got too far into other stuff. All right, 0.2 days left. I'm just going to put this up to all the way. If it overflows a tiny bit, that's okay, because I'd rather just have water. And this source is going to cut off pretty quick overnight anyhow. We will see what happens. Yeah, because this river also, you know, has to be a certain amount full. And I honestly probably should get rid of these dams and put in floodgates down here, but that's all stuff that we will be able to tackle in due time. And it's an 11-day drought, so I actually ended up guessing pretty correctly. That's nice. Very good stuff. Continue to plant some oak trees again. And I'm really hoping this doesn't dry out, but unfortunately we are going to have to keep pumping. And fortunately for us, we do have all this water stored here, at least to a certain extent, with the amount of floodgates we have. So, building projects they're currently working on, obviously, this guy right here. Not the most important thing right now, but we're going to be really glad we did do it when the next temperate season comes in. I think what's going to make the most sense for now is to go ahead and, well, I'm not going to remove these dams until something else is in place. But we probably, if we really, really want to make a splash, what we do is we come all the way down here and we put in levees either here, or if we're bold, all the way down here. But I think right here is going to be fine because that's going to keep the river at the same level as it is now and give us a little bit more storage here as well, which we could pump from or just leave there because we feel like it. And while we don't have a lot of logs right now, we do have plenty of trees. And we can divert beavers from the science huts and to come over here. But I think what's going to make the most sense for our purposes at this time is to do one of these numbers. Again, it's 3 CMS. We don't really have to have that much flow. But, oh, how did I manage to do that? We are going to end up doing a double floodgate here and a double floodgate here. And in order to get that actually built, we will have to either send beavers down into the Shadow Realm or let it evaporate. Or we just come in, research a double platform, which we probably should have already, and just pop that guy there. Then we just have to get across here. And that, of course, is going to either require building a couple of staircases, or just put in some platforms and we just deal with it. We don't have bridges yet, and I don't think I want to invest in those. But the thing that's going to make the most sense, I think, is just to do one of these and just make it work. That should take care of all of that. Now, you might be saying, how are you going to get across here if these floodgates are in place? And you would be correct, because I misjudged. I actually have to put these platforms here to build all of this. I know. Wait a second. No. No. We don't have to be dumb. Because this is going to evaporate really quick anyway. I don't know what I was thinking. If you already left a comment telling me that, I want you to know that I appreciate you and that you have telepathically reached me in the past, so I will give you full credit for that idea. I'm just going to put the staircase here. I don't know why I didn't think of that. Or why I didn't think that would be a smart idea right off the bat. But yeah, all of this water has nothing holding it back, so as soon as this just figures out that, hey, you know, we can leave. You can get out, hit the bricks. It's going to make its way out there, and then we'll be in a really, really good shape. In fact, let's hit triple speed and see if those beavers finish these stairs before the water's gone. Okay, this is sticking around a little bit longer than I'd like it to. Just a little bit longer. But now, okay, I see a little bit of green. It's gonna be gone really quick. Just a little bit here. Yeah, they haven't even finished this. I'm not worried about it. Yeah, but this world's simplest bad water diversion trick, doctors hate him. Anybody remember those stupid banner ads? It's like, local doctors hate this one woman for this crazy trick. And it's like, eat healthy food. It's like, that's not a trick. That's basic life advice. Like, come on, man. Don't do stupid garbage clickbait. Anyway, now that this is ready to go, looking good, and we do have to turn the power wheel back on, so we can actually run the lumber mill, so we can make more planks, so we can do all this stuff. Yes, yes, we know this. But we are rapidly running out of water here. I am going to wait until this is basically empty before I release anything, because this has a lot less surface area for a larger volume of water, which means less evaporation. So that's always good news. But we do need to keep going on our oak trees here. Getting very, very close to having all the rest of these taken out. That's looking good. I've got an extra beaver, so we're going to put them on lumberjack duty. And I think, yeah, our water storage is getting pretty full. I don't have the planks to build another one of these medium tanks yet, because I'm trying to build this. And that's really going to help us out a whole lot. And guess what's up here? It's another big hole. We can either fill it with water, or we can put something else in here. You decide. So let me know what you want to see. What you want to see in these. All right. I think maybe a little bit further down the line, we're going to want to continue expanding our levees this way as well to just create a big reservoir. But again, that's going to take a little bit of time. They did finish this, which is good. And because this is all clean water, we can remove this floodgate and we can start the process of putting in a double high. Before we do that, I do want to make sure that this goes in the correct direction, which it has. Very good. Double floodgate goes there. And that's going to help us out tremendously. Before they build this, though, once we've let all of the water out here, I'm going to replace this with a double, and I'm going to put a levee here as well. Just so we have the ability to retain even more water up here. Step by step. If you remember Lego Island from 1996, Brick by Brick. Somehow that song has stayed in my mind for the past... Oh my god, was that almost 30 years ago? Alright. Yikes. Okay, that one hurt. That one hurt me, and I know it's going to hurt some of you too. But that's fine. We move on. I'm going to go ahead and say that this is going to go here. Maybe superfluous use of these guys, but the reason I want to do that is so I could put in platforms here to put a farmhouse or possibly an aquatic farmhouse in. I just have to decide exactly how I want this to work. We got options. We have ways of doing stuff. And it doesn't always have to be the most perfect way of accomplishing things. Like it's okay, I think, at least. It's okay to make some mistakes and learn something in the process. It doesn't have to be 100% efficient all the time. It's more fun when it is, but it doesn't always have to be perfect. It's okay to give yourself some grace and allow yourself to fail in the process of finding other ways to succeed. But we do need to go ahead and get this watering again because these potatoes are about to dry out and we don't want that. Definitely don't want that. And we're going to be pretty soon in a spot where we're going to need some more beavers. So I'm going to go ahead and say time for that lodge to go away. Time for this lodge to come in. Obviously prioritize getting that done. And we should be good to go. We do have haulers now, which is good. Let's go ahead and get these prioritized. And then that needs to be set to supply. Or maybe, no, that should be set to obtain. That's a much better way of doing it. Alright, so as soon as we get these potatoes saved, I probably will shut this off so we don't waste too much water. Even though we have almost 400. And for a small population like what we have now, that's probably actually pretty good. For early game, at least. Let's let these guys do what they've got to get done. Why have they not come over here? Because they have the planks. Or maybe they didn't have the planks at that point in time. Plenty of stuff to do. Don't need to be worried. I'm going to put this on 2x speed, though. Okay. While we're waiting, it is time to start thinking about putting in some recreation things. Campfires are the real easy one. Real easy one we haven't done yet, or haven't done to a meaningful degree. So this is a perfect place right here to put a campfire. In fact, it's a perfect place to put two. Nice and accessible. And we can start thinking about putting in stuff like the rooftop terraces up on top of these guys as well. So another thing to consider is decoration efficiency. Like we have these roofing pieces. They do have a slight overlap to the other side. So if I just put one of these here, then all three of these lodges will get that benefit. But if we also want to put rooftop terraces up, then we're going to have a little bit more of an efficiency-minded solution. And that, I think, is probably going to have to come in the form of a little bit of... Because I don't have ladders, so I gotta be creative with this. A little bit of good old-fashioned beaver engineering. By beaver engineering, I mean things that really shouldn't make sense. Because remember, stairs to get up here are going to require a little bit more space than we're used to building with. And depending on how we want to have this set up, we might end up causing some interesting problems. But I think if we put this guy here, and we put a rooftop terrace right here, all we got to do is just have this one platform, and then, depending on how we want everything else to be set up, we could put in a couple of these as well, and then another rooftop terrace here with just a single staircase. Or we can utilize this space on top of here. We can put another staircase in, and then we have access to do stuff like we have these 1x1 tiles, which when we do this will affect... Actually, this one would get both of those at the same time, and this one will also get this one. Stuff to consider. Stuff to consider. All sorts of options. I don't think we really need to be super micromanagey about all of this stuff quite yet. But it is a fun thought exercise to consider ways that we could make things a little bit more efficient, a little bit more interesting, because that's always fun. And we have this space right here. We can either have this connect here, we can have it connect here, but I think I might want to have it connect here so that we have space in this spot to put in, again, some of these well-being or decoration items. We have lanterns that'll do a similar kind of thing to what we'd talked about with the roofing tiles. They just have the one tile area of effect. We also have shrubs. People seem to love the shrubs. And then once we get into these other... But this beaver statue, I don't remember costing 50 logs and 10 planks. I really don't... Okay, well, maybe it's always been like that. Again, I don't really play the Folktales that much. So, could just be me being a little dumb. But yeah, lots of space. Even if we don't fill it now, having it accessible and kind of quote-unquote reserved as we move forward is going to be, I think, a smart choice. So how are things... Oh, you know, I was going to shut this off, and then I didn't do it. Good job, me. And these trees are dry now, so let's... Instead of dumping here, we're going to release a little bit of water. Put this on... Oh, it's already down past 1.9, huh? 1.8? Really? Okay, well, this is evaporating a little faster than I thought. 1.65. There we go. There we go. Let all that stuff out. Hopefully that doesn't let enough out to go through the dams. It shouldn't. But it should still irrigate everything we got going on here. And it looks like it is. Cool. Yeah, that's basically right at the level we want it to be. 1.6. What about 1.5? 1.5. Yeah, that'll get that nice and high up there. Good, they already put that in. Nice. Reminder, we do still have to have these levees here because we want to keep the bad water out. So that is necessary. This is getting built nicely. Very good job. Still working on this because we have to have planks, and the builders are predictably quite busy. And we have extra beavers now. I keep forgetting. Let's get up to... I'm going to say we can do 6 in the hauling post. And it's probably about time to have one of these storages changed over to grilled potatoes. Just so we can get those out of the grill. Probably build another one of them kind of soon. We'll see. I do still want to get this up and running, and that has admittedly taken a little bit of a back seat to some of this other stuff we've been working on. But it's really exciting to possibly have this finished by the end of the drought. I think they should be able to do it. But yeah, if we're able to get that done, I do think I want to try narrowing this channel a little bit, especially if this is irrigated from here. It's not going to matter. But that could be a fun thing. And even if not, it's totally fine. Totally fine. So I guess I just have to let them do all of this stuff and we can just stand back and watch. Is this guy actually planting anything? Oh, it's Goliath. Hello, hello. Alright, it's time. It's time to keep letting more water out. Let's go down to 1.2. Hopefully, that's going to be enough. Again, I am trying to get all the water out of this little flat area. I don't know when that's going to happen. Obviously, it's not going to happen until this is low enough. But I don't want to let any water out through the dam because that would be more or less a waste. I'm trying to keep it pumped. And we do have 6 days. We do have 6 days, so we don't need to rush. Definitely don't need to rush through it. Just trying to keep ourselves on some sort of a healthy track for that. Do I want to research a builder's hut right now? I probably should. Probably should. That might be the best use of extra beavers this early in the game. And I have the science, so, you know, we might as well do it. And I'm going to put that up here, out of the way currently, because we don't really have that much of a need for it. And they, you know, this doesn't matter really where it is, except when there's nothing to do, they're going to go sit there. But if there are projects that need to be completed, then they don't have to go back to the builder's hut every time. So you just have an empty spot, plunk it down somewhere, it's going to be totally fine. That is going to be the most important thing they build next, because then I can hire the rest of these beavers. And that's always good. It is also time. I know I'm adding a whole bunch of stuff at once, but we do need to get this in place. Go ahead and finish that before the end of the day, because then we can have additional beavers again. And that'll employ more beavers in the builder's huts, and we can continue doing other things as well. I know food isn't looking fantastic right now, but we're making strides. We're getting things better. And very soon, you're going to see a huge improvement after we get this other thing popped in place. Just takes time. Just takes a little bit of time. Alright, there we go. Pull them out of the inventor huts, and now we have all these extra builders, which should greatly increase our speed. And there we go, we have 4 empty beds. That's looking good. These guys are doing something. Building double floodgates. I'm going to go ahead. We have 5 days. I know this is dry, so we do have to let more out here. Go down to 1.0. That should get us just about dry here, which means I really should go down to 0.95. There we go. There we go. Now I can safely get rid of this. I know we're doing a whole lot at once, but they're going to take care of it. We got smart beavers. They were accomplished. They're confident, and they are prepared. They are definitely prepared. So that's going to be full height, so everything gets redirected through here. I am very confident they're going to be able to get this taken care of. But we do need this to be irrigating, and that's not going to quite be enough. Not quite enough. Well, we have 466 water. I think we're okay. I'm going to pause these. I get these beavers back in to do other jobs. And 5 days. These trees aren't going to die in 5 days without water. But I probably should have kept a little bit more up here. It's probably fine. I do need to stop second-guessing myself as much. That is a very valid thing people have asked me to do. Meanwhile, the campfires have had absolutely no progress for quite some time. And that is just the way it is. Looks like we've got a couple of oaks we can plant. So that's good progress there. Are we starting to build here? No, we are not, because they're in the process of getting this taken care of. I'm going to go ahead and say 1.7 should be fine. Just a little bit higher. And yeah, we're looking pretty good. Looking pretty good. Still doing more planks. Very, very slowly. At some point soon-ish, we are going to continue expanding all the rest of this stuff. There's just so much going on right now that it's a slow process. But we'll get there. Hey, we've got a campfire. Nice. Very good progress there. So what's next on the menu for the beavers of building? It should be all of this stuff up here, and it looks like it is. We're going to get our rooftop terrace pretty soon. And this is just about complete. And I think they should be coming up here to get these blueberries out of here, and then we can start building our fluid dump, and then we can have a whole lot more planting going on, and that's really, really going to help things out. Food continues to climb, which is good. We filled this up. I'm not going to get rid of this carrot storage, because we do need to probably still have those things. But like I said, just going to take time. But I really like where we're at. 3.3 days. We are technically out of logs, but we're not out of logs. You know why? Because we have access to these guys up here. It's not a lot, but it is something that we have access to, and we can send a couple of beavers up here. And just hopefully able to take the rest of these out here. These oaks will grow back before too long. And if I splash them, they'll keep growing. At 3 days... this is plenty of water for 3 days. I would just like to avoid getting down right to the very bottom of this, because then it's going to take a lot longer for this to fill back up. But you know how it goes. Know how it goes. I also wanted to put a bunch of levees in here as well, but, we're not quite there. So let's do 0.6. Get a little bit more water in here. And see how much the rest of these can grow. Alright, this is... Okay, that needs to go away. This one there needs to be gone. I can just get rid of these with paths. That's not a big deal. And as soon as that guy is done, then this does have to become a levee. And then we can just put the dump right on top of this, like I said before. And gonna look pretty nice. Pretty nice. We will have one extra tile of irrigation here. I don't think it's going to be a big deal. Probably fine. And if we decided that we wanted to run a what do you call it through here? Yep, scientific term. Then I could have just had the dump going into this notch, and it would have been fine. But you know how it goes. These are... Oh, that's 4%. Okay, yikes. 15. Are any of these at like 9? Okay, we got some at 93. Yeah, this isn't reaching all the way around. So, down we go. All the way down. Just flood the rest of this out. It's going to be okay. We just need... we need this to be growable for a couple of days. Or a day. Even just a day. Yeah, that's going to be a huge help. I know I could have just turned the stump on, but it wouldn't have covered all of these trees. It would have simply had most of them. And as long as I have enough logs to build this levee here, and then of course we will need to have a staircase, and then we will need to have the dump here. Get all that at once, then we'll be in pretty good shape. Still a few trees to cut down. I believe they've got everything they need to do this. And that's got all the pieces already. That's fine. I could have just connected this with the path, I know. But I kind of would like to save this for some well-being stuff, since that path is right there. Otherwise, though, I think we've made some very nice progress. Very, very good progress. And if we can get this operating, planting additional crops up here, and then have a tremendously larger amount of storage on this area, I think we're going to be in great shape going into episode 4. It's always nice to have all this extra stuff taken care of, for sure. I know we have planks that we need to take care of here, and then this also has to be built before the next bad tide comes. But we've got a little bit of time. Got a little bit of time. I'm going to leave this down at 0 so this can just immediately flow through. And yes, we do need to replace this with a triple at some point, and we do need to raise this height so we can take full advantage of what we've done up here. But again, all of that is just going to take time. I believe Well, it's probably not a smart idea to go ahead and put it on here now, but sooner rather than later, we can get that taken care of. Got a couple more oak trees here that we can get rid of without too much hassle. This guy's got nothing left to do, huh? Okay, well, go do something else. Looks like there's one tree left here. This is just about finished. Looks like we're carrying logs. That's going to need one more log. We do have a couple of planks. Yeah, we got... The lumber mill is basically full of logs. So that's going to be totally fine. We should have a couple of these grow up before the end of the drought here. That's at 2%, so that might have actually just been cut down. One of these was at 93. And I know there's not a data view that allows me to just, you know, like hit tab and see the growth rate of all the trees, which actually would be kind of cool, but... Ah, there we go, 95%, 98%. That's what I was wanting to see. 98, 93, 13, 41. Okay, that's not... All right, so there's a couple. There's a couple that maybe by the end of this drought are going to be cuttable, and that's nice. That's going to be really, really good. Just one bit at a time. All you can do. All you can do. If we wanted to, I could put a staircase here to get these guys, but now we're at the point where we're actually very, very low on a lot of this stuff, and we're just going to need to make sure we do whatever we can to make the things that actually are super important happen. So, to that end, I know there's more trees up here. I got the two beavers who aren't doing anything, so we'll get them to come up here and cut these guys. And then, before too long, we can get over here to take care of those. And then, we do technically have access to these, but it is a little bit of a... you know what? Actually, no, it's not. It's not. We don't need to be making excuses. We need results. So I'll put a couple of those in there. Man, it sounds like a Fortune 500 board meeting. I don't like that. There we go. Get these trees. There's not really that much to be... I don't know why I can't remember the word for cutting down trees. Good job, me. But when the push comes to shove, we can pause a couple of these and get those guys moving over there. We also, don't forget, have these inventors that they're going to draw from automatically because these are at lowest possible priority. That's going to be totally fine. So, where do we stand on this stuff? Okay, we need planks. See, that's what takes the longest amount of time, is just getting the planks made. So, yeah, I'm going to go ahead and just hit that triple speed. Let this be what it's going to be. It might not look like a whole lot right now because, you know, there's not water going absolutely everywhere. But this is big. This is going to be really, really great. This is great. This at the correct double height is great. And I think we have made some very, very good progress today. And we're slowly accumulating science. We just have to decide what we're going to spend it on in getting some other things accomplished. I know we want to start growing wheat. But I was going to do that once we had this dumping water over here, and that hasn't quite happened yet. Not quite yet. So these guys are done. That doesn't need to be there anymore. Cutting down these trees as well. So stuff is going well. Very good. Very, very good. One more plank. Hey, there we go. There we go. Irrigate. Let's see how far this goes. I'm predicting it's going to go either this tile or a little bit past, but getting up here is going to be great also. And there's all of our river water gone. That is unfortunate, but there's not really anything else I can do about it at this point. Oh, this is just out of range. Okay, well, I don't think there's any other actual trees here, so this guy can go bye-bye. And annoyingly, I know, I'm going to move this one more tile so I can get this one tree, and then we're done. Then we're done with that. These guys, I guess, don't have any additional... Oh, okay, they can technically reach those, but until we can build a staircase, until we want to build a staircase here, I don't think it's that big of a deal. I'll just go ahead and get rid of these. Just let those guys be what they're going to be. Hey, look at this. Look at this. This is a tremendous amount of extra space gained. That's really good. That's really good, but it's the end of Cycle 5, and we're coming up on an hour, and I really don't want this to turn into another series where people are unhappy that the videos are too long, at least not at this point. So what we're going to do is we're going to go ahead, we're so good on potatoes, I'm not going to feel bad about just, you know, completely destroying some of these. I'm going to say that this is enough potatoes, this bit down here. Going to get rid of that. We're going to plant wheat. Not all of this. Not all of this is wheat. But a decent bit, and then also some carrots. Just a few. And the farmhouse is going to move, because this is prime arable land. Beautiful, wonderful arable land. And these little bitty small tanks for water also, guess what? They're gone, because this is more space we can grow crops. It's always nice to have additional crops whenever you think you might need them. So, yeah, nope, don't go home yet. Don't go home yet. Don't go home yet. Good, you're still planting. I promise it's going to be worth it. I promise it's going to be worth it. You put in the pain now and you're going to see the results later. Hopefully it's not that much pain. Yeah, just get those things popped in there, and then we got to get out of here, or else the episode's going to be too long. But hopefully you can see that we've made some tremendously fun and good improvements here. And also, this doesn't need to be a thing anymore. This can go away. And I'm not going to get rid of it yet, but I am going to keep this fluid dump completely paused, because that's no longer going to be a concern. But I don't want to get rid of these levees yet, because there is still water here that can irrigate. And this does kind of pressurize the water a little bit through here if we wanted to continue to put in water wheels going this way, create a little artificial channel, or something of that nature. We do have one final thing to get started on construction that has to be done before the next bad tide, and that is this double floodgate, which I have just unpaused. And that is looking really good. And with that, let's take these guys out of 22-hour workdays. They can go back to sleep or whatever they want to do. And that's that. I'm going to, the final thing I'm going to do, put in one of these medium tanks here and set that to water. That'll give us a total storage of 600 up here, and then we have this little tiny guy here. And that is the end of the episode. I'm going to go ahead and unpause these just so I don't forget, because you know that's going to happen. And we get to do the end of episode fun here in the start of Cycle 6. So, again, thank you so much for watching these videos. I really and truly appreciate it. Tremendous comments, tremendous support, tremendous community that we've been building. I guess technically almost 5 years. It'll be 5 years middle of next month when I posted my first Ostriv Alpha 2 video in March of 2020. Time flies. Really, really, really happy to have you guys along for all of the fun with the beavers and the other games too. But again, can't do it without you. Beard Boosters, you already know, but I'm going to say it every single time. Your support makes it possible, and you guys watching who aren't on that list, you matter too, and I'm glad you're here. So whatever it is you're doing with the rest of your day, hope you have a fun and a safe time, and we'll see you back again soon for more of this series and the other series too. Those are going to start back on Monday, so we're going to have 4 days in a row of the Update 7 with the Folktales, just to get this series off to a nice start. And then I haven't quite decided what the rest of the week is going to be looking like, but I'm pretty sure we're going to try to have all of the series come back. Might do a little bit of fiddling. We'll see what happens based on what people want to see. So if you have any suggestions on that, feel free to leave that in the comments as well. And then, of course, we're going to be continuing with the live streams. But that's all the time we got. I already said this video is starting to get too long, so we'll see you later. Bye-bye.